कवीं कवीनामश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ॐ महागणपतये नमः। ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजिनीवती धीनामविद्यवतु। ॐ वाग्देव्यै नमः। शान्तिपाठ। ॐ शिवनामनिभादितेऽन्तरङ्गे महते ज्योतिषि मानिनि मयार्धे दुरितान्यपयान्ति दूरदूरे मुहुरायान्ति महान्ति मङ्गलानि स्मृते सकलकल्याणभाजन यत्र जायते पुरुषस्तमजं नित्यं व्रजामि शरणं हरिम्। ॐ सन्नो मित्रः संवरुणः सन्नो भगवद्वर्यमा सन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः सन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः। नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। यश्चन्दसा वृषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्योऽयमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारडु भूयासम् शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरि विश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अहं वृक्षस्य रेरिवा कीर्तिः पृष्ठं गिरेरिव ऊर्ध्वपवित्रो वाजिनी समृतमस्मि द्रविणं सवर्चसं सुमेधा अमृतोक्षितः इति त्रिशङ्कोर्वेदानुवचनम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वा प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्मयेधि वेदस्य महानीस्तः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहो रात्रात् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः भद्रं नो अपि वातयमनः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वांसस्तनूभिः व्यसेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो हरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः यो ब्रह्माणो विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै ब्रह्मदेवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाश मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः विश्वन्दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्रानिर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यतिमः योगीभयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकमसत्कल्पार्थगं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यत्साक्षात्करणात् भवेत् न पुनरावृत्तिर्भवो निधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नानाच्छिद्रघटोदरस्थितमः दीपप्रभास्वरम् ज्ञानं यस्य तु चक्षुरादिकद्वारा बहिस्पन्दते जानामीति तमेव भासमनुभात्येतत्समस्तं जगत् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये देहं प्राणमपीन्द्रियमपि चलां बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः स्त्रीबालान्धजडोपमा स्वरमिति भ्रान्तादृशं वादिनः मायाशक्तिविलासकल्पितमः व्यामोहसंहारिणे तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमठास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमठास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्या अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्कराश्लेषविलसद् आनन्दामृतनिर्भराम् विश्वोत्तंसितपादाब्जां ब्रह्मविद्यां विभावये। नमः श्रुतिशिरः पद्मचण्डमार्तण्डमूर्तये बादरायणसंज्ञाय मुनये समवेश्मने। वेदान्तनिकुरुम्बेण तात्पर्येण प्रकाशितः स्वात्मानन्दैकरस्येन कल्याणाय शिवोऽस्तु नः। अधीः भगवो ब्रह्म। वेदांतो नाम उपनिषद प्रमाणम। Now, what is the characteristic of pramana? Traditionally, this lakshana, pramana lakshana is given. Pramanam kim? Kim lakshanam pramanam? The lakshana is given as below. Abadhita, anadhigata, phalavat, arthabodhakam, pramanam. Abadhita, anadhigata, then phalavat, arthabodhakam, pramanam. There is another definition, pramajanakam, pramanam. What gives rise to prama? Correct knowledge is pramanam. Pramayaha asadharana karanam isa the other day. Here a more descriptive lakshana is given. Abadhita bodha janakam. Bodhakatvam. Bodhakatvam is that which gives to bodha jnana. And that bodha, what type of bodha it should be? Abadhita, anadhigata, phalavat, artha, bodha it should be. It should be about some vastu, artha, some vastu. Or the word artha can mean meaning also, the tatparya, the truth. It should be phalavat. It should be useful. It should serve some purpose, some purushartha purpose. Visheshataha, here in the Vedanta Shastra, is the Parama Purushartha, Moksha, that should be the Phalam for that. In other Pramanas, Drishtihi, Darshanam, etc. is the Phalavat. And based on the sight, etc., the Vyapara, successful Vyapara activity. So any Pramana gives rise to bodha which about some artha which is phalavat. The knowledge is phalavat. And also it should be abadhita, na badhita. Should not be negated at any point of time. Once you know, it must stay for good. Should not be negated by any other later by the same pramana, or by any vyavahara, etc. It should not be negated, non-negatable. Abadita it should be. If some bodha, some jnana we have, and later it gets negated, like the Rajasarpa jnana for instance, or aham samsari iti, the jnana, that jnana is not prama. It's not born of pramana. Nirdushta pramana janyam na iti. So, this is one characteristic of pramana. It gives rise to jnana which is abadita. Under any circumstance, it never gets negated. Further, another important characteristic is the bodha should be anabhigata. Adhigata means already evident, already known through some other pramana or by the very same pramana. It should not be revealable by, known by any other pramana, anadhigata. Also called apurvata, it is called. Purvata means what is already known, or what can be known by some other means, that is the purvata. That should be apurvata. So anadhigata it should be. Like even when the pot is seen, then the seeing sight is not possible by any other pramana. It is, and before we employ our eyes, that pot rupa is not known. Once we have the darshana of the pot first time, then that is the prama. And then later on when we see, it is pratyabhijna. I see the pot, at the same time it is known, the knownness is already there. So, anadhigata it should be. This is the pramana lakshan. Abadita, anadhigata, phalavat, arthabodhakam, pramanam. When you talk about pramanyam, these characteristics should be there. Then the pramana, that's a pramana. Now, what are the pramanas? Just briefly. There are different people, different chintakas, different vadis, different philosophers, acharyas, count different pramanas. We begin with Charvaka. Charvaka says only one pramana, pratyaksham eva pramana. Charvaka doesn't believe in anything else, only pratyaksha. Pratyaksha siddham alone is satyam for Charvaka. He does not believe in anumana, in yukti, because Charvaka says it's always indecisive, undependable, always conditional, undependable. Therefore, yukti is not a pramana, only pratyaksha. Somebody says parvataha vanniman, you cannot take for granted. If really parvata has a vanni, you must go and check, then only parvataha vanniman. Dhumavatvat, etc. is not absolutely dependable. The fellow may be ignorant, or the person may have some other motive saying that, etc. It's always undependable. Verbal testimony is also not very dependable. Therefore, we don't depend on it. So, pratyaksha alone is pramana. This is Charvaka's position. Then come the Bauddhas and the Jainas. They say pratyaksha and yukti or anumana is the pramana. Only these two. Veda is not a pramana for them. These three, Charvaka, Bauddha and Jaina, they are Nastikas. Okay, for them Veda is not a pramana. But they consider Aptavakya. But that Aptavakya comes under Pratyaksha itself for them. Therefore, only two pramanas, Pratyaksha and Anumana. Then come the Astika Darsanikas, Sankhya and the Yoga Darshana. They consider three pramanas, Pratyaksha, Anumana and Shabda. Three pramanas. Before that, the Vaiseshika also considers only two pramanas, Pratyaksha and Anumana only. What about Shabda? Vaisheshika is counted as a Astika? Yes. So the Pratyaksha and any other, Shabda and any other pramanas are counted within Pratyaksha and Anumana by the Vaisheshika. Shabda, some Apta Vachanam etc. is there. Veda Vachanam is there. Where do you count? We count it in Pratyaksha and Anumana itself. It's not a separate pramana. This is the Vaisheshika's thinking. Counts only two pramanas, Pratyaksha and Anumana. But there is a difference between the counting of Vaisheshika and that of the Bauddha and Jaina. For them there is no Veda. Veda is not a pramana. Whereas Vaisheshika considers Veda as a pramana, but that is within Shabda and, Pratyaksha and Anumana itself. Now come the Sankhya and Yoga. They consider Shabda as a separate pramana. Pratyaksha, Anumana and Shabda the pramana. Here Shabda predominantly Veda Shabda for them, Sankhya and Yoga. Then the Nayayika comes. For Nayayika, in addition to these three, Pratyaksha, Anumana and Shabda means Veda. In addition to these three, Upamana, the comparison, is also a separate pramana. By the comparison, the person knows something similar to a known object. Something which is unknown now, but similar to something known. That unknown is known by this Upamana comparison. Go sadrishaha ayam gavayaha. This fellow knows the cow. In the village, at home, this fellow has seen the cow. But the fellow has not been to the forest. There in the forest, the wild buffalo is there, wild cow is there, gavayaha is there. Now people tell him that there is this wild cow, wild bull is there, buffalo is there. How does it look like? People tell him that this looks like the cow that you have, that you see. Go sadrishaha gavayaha, you say. When once this person happens to go to the forest and see an animal, first time he is seeing, but then he knows this is gavayaha. How does he know that this is gavayaha? Because the person has this upamana, this he has. Gavaya looks like cow. So this animal is gavayaha. Looks like cow, this is gavayaha, the person knows. This is not anumana. Here there is no vyapti etc. is not there. So this is separate pramana. Thus Nayayika counts upamana as the fourth pramana. Okay? Then the Prabhakara Mimamsaka. For the Prabhakara, Arthapatti, the postulation is a separate pramana. Two facts or so which are seemingly contradictory, but they are fact. The only way of reconciliation is by postulating a third factor which will make the other two acceptable, understandable. They are facts, but how do we reconcile the contrariness? By interposing a third factor, that is the postulation, arthapatti. Anyatha anupapattau. Otherwise, what is not acceptable, what seems not acceptable, there we use the arthapatti pramana. The familiar example, pinaha devadattaha iti, that is known. The person who goes on putting on weight, we see them not eating during the day. So putting on weight and not eating during the day, they are contrary. But then how do we explain this phenomenon? Not eating, but putting on weight. So ratrau bhungte iti, the person must be eating during the night time. This must be eating during the night time is the arthapatti. That reconciles both observed facts. Doesn't eat during day, yes, ratrau bhungte. Goes on putting weight, yes, ratrau bhungte, right? That reconciles both the observed, seemingly viruddha fact, opposite facts. This is the Arthapatti. Prabhakara counts Arthapatti as a fifth Pramana. Then there is this Kumarila Bhatta Matam. There they count Anupalabdhi also as a separate Pramana. Others count Anupalabdhi etc. within their own list. Who counts two, they say that that person says that all the other are Antargata within my two. The one who says three Pramanas, that person says all the other are within my list of three. That's how they say. So the Kumarila Bhatta Bhatta Mata, Anupalabdhi, non-apprehension. Mama haste, in my hand there is nothing. Kinchit nasti, gataha nasti, there is no pot in my hand. So this is the Anupalabdhi Pramana. You see the hand, but then gata is not available for perception to negate. Then how do you know that there is no gata in your hand now? That is very separate Pramana. Anupalabdhi iti, non-apprehension, it is there. So these are the 6 Pramanas. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Arthapatti, Upamana, Anupalabdhi and Shabda iti, the 6 Pramanas. Among these 6, the first 5 are considered Laukika Pramanani, which are available for everybody. Whereas the last one, Shabda Pramana, by Shabda we take Veda. Veda is a Pramana in revealing something which is not within the Gochara, within the scope of these other 5 Pramanas. Pratyakshadi Pramana, Agochara, Vishayakam is the Veda, is the Pramana. Veda talks about something which is Adrishta, meaning which is not otherwise known by any other Pramana, by any of these Pramana. Therefore, Apurvata is there. And it talks about something which is Phalavate. And what it says cannot be negated, is not negated by any other Pramana or any other subsequent experience. Abadita it is. Therefore, Abadita, Anadigata, Phalavate, Artha Bodhakam, Vedaha is a Pramana. Since the Vishaya that is talked in the Veda is not available for Pratyaksha or Anumana, in order to understand what the Veda says, and in order to follow up, do some follow-up activity based on what Veda says, Shraddha is necessary. To understand what the Veda says, the person must have Shraddha. Shraddha means the person doesn't dismiss Veda Pramana, what it says, just because the person does not understand now one thing. It may take some time for the person to understand what Veda says, but then the person has this intrinsic trust in the Veda as a Pramana, keeps the trust, doesn't dismiss the Veda or what it says, but then tries to understand till one understands. Then Shraddha is necessary, indispensable. Without Shraddha, Vedartha is not understandable in most places, in most instances. And also Shraddha means the person is available. If I don't have Shraddha, then I am not available for what Veda says anymore. The person is available. Also, Veda says, Swargakamaha Jyotishtomena Yajeta. The one who is desirous of Swarga Prapti, the person does Jyotishtoma. Jyotishtoma Yaga is there. What is Jyotishtoma? We have the description. Jyotish, light, stoma, the stuti. Jyotish stoma is Jyotishtoma. Alright, how to do this Jyotishtoma is all there we have. But then, just by knowing Jyotishtoma, the person does not go to Swarga. Jyotishtomena yajeta is there. The person should perform the activity. Jnatva karoti. So karana is there. The person has to do the yaga. Then only Swarga prapti is there. Gaining the phalam, result is there. So to pursue, to continue with the knowledge of Jyotishtoma, to do the Jyotishtoma, Shraddha is necessary. Alright, without Shraddha, Karma Kandeva, Jnana Kandeva, the pravritti is not tenable, won't be there. Shraddha is a must in that. And Shraddha also, when I said the person is available, means the person is objective. The person is ready to push aside one's own subjective ideas, one's own preconceived notions, convictions about certain things, put them aside and then look at it newly and with an open mind. Doesn't allow one's own notions, likes and dislikes to interfere in the working of the pramana, that is objectivity. Shraddha brings in objectivity also. And here in the matter of what Vedas reveal is a pramana. In the matter of knowing, there is no Purusha Tantra here in this. What Veda says does not depend upon my wish, my knowing or not knowing, my preferences. There is no Kartru Tantra here, there is no Purusha Tantra, it's only Vastu Tantra. So for to comprehend that, what Veda says, Shraddha is necessary. Alright. Now, what Veda says is not easily understood by all. And there are certain complicated portions, involved portions, and there are something we'll have to put together, pick up a few from here, pick up a few from there, that we need to do in order to have a complete view. For all this, there is the inquiry, vichara is necessary. It is called Mimamsa. Who is to do this? When to do this? How to do this? What is the samagri? What are the ingredients? Etc. So in all knowing these details, in the truth of what Veda says, an inquiry is necessary. Mimamsa is warranted. Mimamsa means a thorough inquiry with Shraddha, backed by Shraddha. That is Pujita Vicharaha. Acharyas say Mimamsa means Pujita Vichara. Pujita means with due reverence, that is with Shraddha you look into. You don't dismiss just because you don't understand, you don't believe. You have your preferences elsewhere. Based on these, you don't dismiss, you are open, you are objective, you see what it has to say. You try to understand. You are not in a hurry to dismiss what it says, but you have the patience to understand what it says. That is Shraddha. Where Shraddha is, then Mimamsa is possible. The word Mimamsa comes from Man Dhatu. Man, to think. And then doubling is there. There is a doubling of the San Pratyaya is there. Then doubling is there. We have the word Mimamsa. That is Vichara, inquiry, analysis is necessary. When it happens that even when the Laukika matters, somebody says something, even there you need to do Vichara. in quite a few occasions. You have to do adhyahara, you have to do lakshana, right? All that. The red comes, the red runs, the whites are marching, etc. There you do Jahal Lakshana, Ajahal Lakshana, all that you do. And then it also happens that we misunderstand also. A clear yes is misunderstood as a clear no also. It happens. So when it is the case, when this is the case, what to talk of? This Apaurusheya Veda, therefore Mimamsa is a must. Now, the entire Veda is looked upon as one section, one big book by the Mimamsakas, Purva Mimamsakas. They say the entire Veda has one purpose, one intention. Karmani tatparyam, karane tatparyam asti. Sarvasya, Kritsnasya Vedasya. The entire Veda has its tatparya in karma. This is a very basic principle upon which the Mimamsa is built. We have this sutra, Jaiminiya Sutra, Purva Mimamsa Sutra. Amnayasya Kriyartatvat Anarthakyam Atadarthanam, a very famous, often quoted sutra. Jaiminiya Sutra. Interestingly, that Jaimini Sutra, that is called Purva Mimamsa, Jaiminiya Sutra or Jaimini Sutra, that text also begins this way, Athato Dharma Jignasa. This is very much similar to the Brahma Sutra, which begins Athato Brahma Jignasa. There it is Dharma Jignasa. Where the Acharyas explain Ataha Dharma Jignasa, the inquiry into the nature of Dharma. And when we say Dharma, its counterpart also is there, Adharma also is there. How do we know what is Adharma? In the very same Mimamsa, what is Dharma, which establishes what is Dharma. From that we understand what is Adharma also. Therefore they say, Athato Dharma Jignasa. That Ato Dharma means Dharmaha cha, Adharmaha cha. Ataha Dharma Jignasa, Ataha Adharma Jignasa. That is included in what they say. A very nice way of it. So what is Dharma? Dharma is known by this Mimamsa. This is the Jaiminiya Sutra, which is called Purva Mimamsa. It's called Purva Mimamsa because the Purva Bhagasya, where the Purva Bhaga is there, Karma Kanda, Tasya Mimamsa. Therefore, Purva Bhaga Mimamsa is called Purva Mimamsa. Madhyama Pada Lopa Samasa. Shaka Parthivavati. Swami used to say, Kafi Srinivasa. Okay. So, person who likes coffee, some Srinivasa, somebody. Kafi Priya Srinivasa. In that we shorten the compound Kafi Srinivasa. We use that some. So that's a Madhyama Pada Lopa Samasa. Lopi Samasa. Purva Bhaga Mimamsa is Purva Mimamsa. In that Purva Mimamsa Sutras, that again is extensively commented, elaborately commented by Kumarila Bhatta, Prabhakara Acharya, by all of them. Kumarila Bhatta's explanation of this sutra called Shloka Vartika is one of the very famous texts in the Purva Mimamsa. So, this sutra is there, Amnayasya Kriyartatvat. Amnaya, the Veda. The entire Veda has its commitment in karma. Kriya Artatvat. Kriya means karma. Therefore, wherever there is this Linglotavya is there, Kuru kurvita, karotu, etc. These are all there. Kartavyam, the pratyayas are there. Enjoining somebody, the person to do something. That is the key portion, important portions of the Vedas. Yajeta, Jyotishtomena yajeta, Swargakamaha, Ahar Sandhyam upasita. So, upasita, yajeta, kuru, kartavyam, etc. These are all there. These are the key words. Because there is some vidhana, some vidhi is there, something enjoined, something to do, to be done is said. That is the central tatparya of the Vedas. What about other portions wherein these vidhi vakyas are not, vidhi shabdas are not there? Vidhi vakyas, there are so many vakyas. Yupaha, adityaha, another well-known example. This yupa, the sacrificial yajna post, this post is this made of wood. This is adityaha. There is no vidhi mentioned there. Vayurvai kshetishta devata. Vayu is a very fast moving devata. That's all said. There is no linglotavya. There is nothing enjoined to be done there. Then how do we account for those portions of the Vedas? The sutra explains, anarthakyam atadarthanam. Tadartha means kriya, karma artha. Sentences, portions in the Veda which are connected to karma, they are alone meaningful. Because karma is the tatparya of the entire Veda. What about those portions wherein there is no karma vidhanam, karma vidhi is not there, to be done, to do, should do, that is not there. What about those atadarthanam, those portions which don't have the karma vidhi, they would become futile, anarthakyam, useless. Arthakya means usefulness. Artha means utility. Arthakya or arthakyam being useful. Anarthakyam, uselessness. They would become useless. Na arthakyam, anarthakyam. But this occurs in the Veda. You cannot say Veda talks about something which is useless. If Veda talks about something useless, it will become, Veda becomes dushta pramana, doshavat pramana. But Veda is apaurusheya, free from any defects. Human being, what the human being says, there will be defects. Incompleteness, doubt, error, etc., will be there. And then raga dvesha may be there. But then these doshas are not there, cannot be there in the Veda. It is not paurusheya, not the work of any human being, not created by human being. Anything created by human being will have certain defects. Repetition will be there, incompletion will be there, falsehood may be there, vanchana also may be there, deceitfulness may be there, doubtfulness will be there. These are some of the doshas in the paurusheya. Whereas Veda being apaurusheya, not paurusheya, Veda cannot have any defects. In that case, why are these vakyas there? Therefore, the Mimamsaka, Pura Mimamsaka says, we have to connect these vakyas to some vakya, relevant vakya, where there is vidhi, kuru, kartavya, etc. is there. You connect these vakyas. Or you have to supply certain kriya padas, verbs you supply. Thereby you make the entire Veda connected to karma. The karma can be kayikam karma, vachikam karma, or manasam karma. Kayikam karma is the yajna, yaga, etc. That is the kayikam karma. Whereas japa karma is there, that is vachika. And then Upasanam is there, that is Manasam Karma. Therefore, the entire Veda is seen in the light of Karma only, Kayikam va, Vachikam va, Manasam va. This is the position of the Puramimamsaka. An elaborate analysis done, a thorough analysis done in the Mimamsa Sutras, and based on that there are various other granthas written by various Mimamsa Acharyas also, very thorough, yes. They say that the entire Veda has Tatparya in Karma because of this Anadigatatva. This factor is important. Veda has to say something which is not known already. Sadhya Vastu alone it can talk about. What is already known, what is already there, Veda need not talk about. Siddha Vastu it is. Suryaha Prakashavan, Agnihi Ushnaha. It is already known. It is already known, it is a fact, Siddha it is. Anya Pramana Siddha it is. Anubhava Siddha. This Veda need not say. This is Adhigata already known through other Pramanas. Veda does not have to say about. Veda does not say about anything like that. But then there are words, there are sentences wherein this Aditya has something talk about what is already Siddha. That is not the Tatparya. The Tatparya is always in something what is not yet accomplished. Sadhya Vastu. Sadhya Vastu, Sadhya alone is the Tatparya. Otherwise Veda would lose its Pramanyam. If it is Siddha, it is already known, and then Veda, there is no point in Veda Veda talking about something that is Siddha already. This is the position of the Mimamsaka. Veda should be Anadigata, therefore it should talk about something which is not known, which is not accomplished. It should talk about only Sadhya. And therefore the Sadhya, here what Sadhya? For the Laukika Prayatnaihi, by the Laukika efforts, which we know, like Gamanam, etc., by going, you accomplish something, you reach some place. By the Laukika Upayas, what can be accomplished? That also Veda need not talk about. Laukika Yatnaihi, what is Sadhya will be Laukika Sadhya only. That the Veda need not talk about. But Alaukika sadhanas, yes. Alaukika means not known otherwise, not commonly known with our pratyaksha, etc. That is the not known otherwise, that is the alaukika. Adrishta. Adrishta Vishaye Shastram Pramanam. This Adrishta can be Sadhya like Swarga. Swarga is Adrishta. And also, this Adrishta can be Sadhana like Jyotishtoma. Right? So, either the Sadhanam should be Adrishta, or Sadhya should be Adrishta, or both Adrishta. So, the Veda has its scope only in the matter of Adrishta only. Either the sadhana or the sadhya or both should be adrishta. Then only Veda has scope. That means what is not siddha, that alone Veda talks. Therefore, there is no siddha vastu vakya, siddha para vakya is not there in the Veda. Everything is only sadhya, param only. This is the position of the Mimamsaka, Purva Mimamsaka. Now he has a problem. There is this portion called Upanishad in the Veda. This also happens to be part of the Veda. Here in this Upanishad, Even though some place upasita, etc., some places there are vakyas, that they have no problem, because upasita, etc. is there, vidhi is there. Drashtavyaha, shrotavyaha, it's all counted as vidhi, no problem. But there are certain sentences where there is no vidhi chaya, there is no vidhi at all. Aham brahmasmi, ayam atma brahma, tattvam asi, satyam jnanam anantam brahma. There is no vidhi here. You cannot bring in any vidhi, nor you can connect these vakyas to vidhi. The Mimamsaka holds no any such portions where there is no vidhi. Some vidhi has to be brought in, or it has to be connected to some vidhi vakya. Otherwise it becomes futile, anarthakyam, he said. Therefore you have to connect to some vidhi vakya. Here we cannot connect aham brahmasmi, we cannot connect with sandhya vandanam or jyotishtoma or somayaga. We cannot connect with any of this. What do we do? Therefore the Mimamsaka is forced to say that this is upasanam. Aham brahma asmi iti upasita. This is for upasanartham. And the phalam, what is the phalam for this? Aham brahma asmi iti. What is the phalam? The Brahma Vastu is a anantam, jagat karanam it is. The vibhuti glories are limitless. By doing upasana of Brahma, you get some Brahma vibhutis, some vibhutis you get. Some glories, some greatness that you get. This is the phalam. So sarvajna, so you will become lotjna, you will know a lot. Sarvashaktihi, you will become little bit of Sarvashaktiman, you will become. This is the phalam for this. Or you will go to Brahmaloka, Swargaloka, etc. This will be the phalam. So, this is the tatparya of this Aham Brahmasmi Vakya. Upanishad are subsidiary to Karmakanda, or they are Upasana Para. This is the position of the Purva Mimamsaka. Karma Mimamsa. Now, even for that, Mimamsa is to be done, lot of Vichara is to be done. Now, Vyasa Bhagavan, Veda Vyasa, and the Advaita Sampradaya, they identify that, they see that there is this Purushartha called Moksha. And moksha is freedom, fullness, freedom from dukkha, dukkhi, freedom from samsara, not just incidental, temporary freedom, but it is unconditional, total, everlasting. That means, unconditional means, it has to be there even now. It's already siddha, it is. You don't become muktaha. Any becoming means it is anitya. Yat kritakam tat anityam iti nyayena. Whatever that is produced, whatever that is accomplished is only temporary. It's only limited. Anityam, it is parichinnam. Whereas moksha is not something, cannot be something which is acquired, which cannot be something created, because anything created is anitya, temporary, conditional only. Therefore, moksha cannot be anitya vastu, it cannot be krita, it cannot be. How else it can be? It can be siddha, it has to be siddha. That is the only way it can be moksha, nitya. If moksha is siddha, then how is it that, or why is it that I do not have moksha? The only answer is ajnana. Ajnana of the already siddha vastu. This is the only reason. And ajnana goes only by jnana, nothing else. Therefore, jnana kanda. Upanishad is jnana kanda. Here it talks about siddha vastu. Here there is no karma chaya, karma lesha is not here. It's only knowing. There is no kartru tantra here. In karma kanda there is kartru tantra, kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatava kartum shakyam it is there. But here, vastu, here there is no anyatava jnatum shakyam. That's not applicable here. That's only error, that is not jnana. Gataha, gatatvena va, patatvena va, jnatum shakyaha. Gata can be understood gata only, not as pata. There is no vikalpa, there is no purusha tantra here. Therefore here, anyatava jnatum shakyate ityadi, it is not there. This is vastu tantra, pramana tantra, there is no purusha tantra. Therefore here there is only jnana is there. In jnana, you know what is. Jnana is only about what already is. And jnana only reveals the vastu as it is. That means the person has ajnana about that vastu, that ajnana nivritti takes place. That's all the ajnana can do. Therefore, there is ajnana about Atmasvarupa. The jiva considers oneself as karta bhokta, and thereby there is samsara anubhava is there. And the person wants to be free from samsara, wants to gain moksha, and that means this samsara has to go, means the karta bhokta buddhi should go, and that can go only if it is not real, if it's born of avidya only. Therefore, avidya janya samsara goes by vidya. In fact, avidya goes, and avidya and samsara automatically goes. So therefore, this jnana kanda, this Upanishad has a separate status, has a separate shastra. Does it mean that it is not Veda? It is Veda only. Veda has to address the entire Purushartha, entire range of Purushartha. All the Purusharthas it has to address. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. If the Veda does not address Moksha, then the Veda becomes a defective Shastra. Apurna Shastra. Somebody who wants moksha, but there is no, Veda does not talk about moksha, then Veda becomes Apurna Shastram. Apurnatvam will be a dosha. While it talks about karma, artha, dharma, it talks about moksha also. Therefore, the Purva Bhaga, Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, they lead to karma, dharma, artha, kama, purusharthas, whereas the Jnana Kanda, Upanishad, talks about the moksha, purushartha, iti vyavastha, purushartha vyavastha is there. That being there, there is adhikari vyavastha also is there. There is somebody who is not after aihika, amushmika, herein and hereafter results. The person is not interested out of maturity, etc. For that person, the person wants freedom, moksha, and the Shastra has to talk about that, has to give the sadhana for that. Jnanameva sadhanam, it has to be there. Therefore, Veda becomes complete only with Upanishad. Minus Upanishad, Veda is cannot be complete, it will be incomplete. It will become dushta, doshavat pramana, not dushta, doshavat pramana. Therefore, Upanishad is not something, appendage or something, it is part of Veda. But, depending upon the Purusha, there is a Binna Shastram. So therefore, it is established that Vedanta is a Pratak Shastra. Vedaha eva, but Pratak Shastra, in as much as Adhikari, etc., they are Binna, they are different. And therefore, this Vedanta Vichara also needs to be done. The Purvamimamsaka says that when Jaimini Acharya has inquired into the entire Veda, analyzed the entire Veda through the Mimamsa Sutras, Jaimini Mimamsa Sutras, that means that Upanishad also has to be counted within that only. Therefore, there is no need for separate Brahma Sutras. because Brahma Sutra talk about Upanishads. Upanishads are part of Veda. The entire Veda has been analyzed by the Jaimini Maharishi's Shastra itself. Therefore, Brahma Sutra is a redundant, or it may be even wrong. It has to be seen in the light of Jaimini Sutra only. It is not necessary in the first place. Jaimini has covered the entire Veda. This is the thinking of the Purva Mimamsaka. Now that is answered. No. There is a Bhinna Adhikari. There is a Mumukshu who is not after Swargapalam, not after Aihika Palam, Dana Danya Ityadi, Pashuputradi. The Upanishad clearly points out Putraishanayaha, Vittaishanayaha, Lokaishanayaha, that points out. Therefore there is a Bhinna Adhikari who is not interested anymore in any of these pursuits. But the person is interested in only in moksha. There is a Vairagya, Vairagi is there, Viveki is there, Samadhi Sampannaha is there, Mumukshu is there. That being there, and the moksha phalam purushartha being there. So there is this Vedanta is Pratak Shastram. And in Vedanta Shastra there are Vakyas. Upanishad is Vedanta. And in the Upanishad Vakyas, some are clear, some are not clear. And you don't know the Tatparya of some of the Vakyas. How to connect all these Vakyas? How to put it as a one cohesive, without any contradiction, without any incompleteness. Therefore Mimamsa is necessary. Uttara Mimamsa is necessary. And that is the Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra does the Mimamsa inquiry into various Upanishad Vakyas whose meanings are not clear and their relevance is not clear. The contradictions are resolved. Tatparya is revealed. And then also, more importantly, it's pointed out that it's all connected to moksha. Ekavakyata is there. The entire Shastra is like one huge sentence. One sentence means Ekavakyata means Ekatatparyata. This is the usual position. One Vakya has one Tatparyam. So this one Tatparya is there for the entire Upanishad body. What is it that? Moksha. Mokshaya Jnana. Jnanaya Shravanavi. This is the, and Shravanavi for the Siddhaye, Adhikaritva, etc. This is the entire Tatparya. Moksha is the Tatparya. Ekavakyata is there. Here the Acharya very beautifully presents the Ekavakyata. The entire Vedanta Shastra has one Tatparya in the moksha alone. And that moksha prapti is by knowing the Jiva's Swarupa as Brahma, Atma iti. Atma, Brahma iti is the Tatparya. Jiveshvara, Aikya is the Tatparya. That Jnana leads to moksha. This is only Tatparya. It's beautifully brought out. So this Brahma Sutra is in the form of Vichara, where the Acharya Veda Vyasa takes certain Vakyas and then analyzes briefly. The Sutra cannot be a vast, big literature. There cannot be huge, big sentences, paragraphs cannot be there. Why? Sutra. The way Sutra has to be short, precise, brief. It cannot be elaborate sentence. But it contains in it the whole vision, which can be elaborated. It has to be elaborately seen. Elaborateness for thoroughness. A Vakya, a Shruti Vakya has to be understood correctly. For that, Vichara is necessary. That is brought out by the Brahma Sutras. A Sutra needs to be understood. For that, a commentary is necessary. Elaboration, explanation is necessary. That is served by the Bhashya here. Bhashyakara has written this Sutra Bhashya. In all likelihood, we cannot understand the meaning of the sutras without Bhashya. In all likelihood. Perhaps in all likelihood there were earlier granthas. Earlier to Shankara Bhashya, there were earlier granthas. Bhashyakara himself mentions about one Bhartru Prapancha, even though he does not mention by name, but he quotes Vrittikara Matam, etc. In a few places he says Vrittikara, and in few places he doesn't even mention the name. The annotators, the Tikakaras, they explain here Vrittikara Matam, Bhartru Prapancha Matam iti. We don't know exactly what all this Acharya Bhartru Prapancha wrote about. We don't know. But we know from only the mention of the Bhashya, we know that there was this Bhartru Prapancha Acharya, and Bhashyakara points out the defects in this method. Then we know that there are some earlier granthas. And also Bhashyakara mentions about certain Acharyas, Advaita Acharyas, like Dravida Acharya he mentioned about, Sundara Pandya Acharya, etc. There were some earlier Acharyas. But we don't have any of their works. Not one sentence we have, not one page we have, not one palm leaf, their works we don't have. All that we know about them, all that we know about what they have said is only from Grantha like Bhashya. This Bhashya only we understand. So there were earlier Granthas, but they are lost. And so the earliest, the oldest book on Sutras, the explanation of Sutras we have is only Shankara Bhashya. Shankara Bhashyam or Shankara Bhashyam, both are there. Bhashyakara brings out the beauty of each sutra, its context, in what context it is said. What does the sutra talk about? What is the Shruti Vakya which the sutra refers to? For instance, Ikshatehe, one famous sutra, Ikshatehe na asabdam. Ikshatehe is there. That's all the sutra. Ikshatehe asabdam. Ikshatehe na asabdam. What do you understand from this? Since seeing is there, what is not said, that's all. Is not. Since seeing is there, since sight is there, what is not said is not. Is the sutra. Asabdam na. What is not said is not. Why? Ikshatehe. Since seeing is mentioned. What do we make out of this sutra? Bhashyakara brings in what does says. This Ikshatehe refers to Tadaikshata. In the Chandogya we have Tadaikshata iti. Bahusyam prajayeya sokamayata Tadaikshata ityari we have. So, it is Bhashyakara's Bhashyakara Bhashya, wherein it is pointed out, this is the Shruti Vakya under consideration, without which we don't know which Shruti is being mentioned in that Vakya. In fact, all other later Acharyas, even though they were not Advaita Acharyas, they all have taken what Bhashyakara quoted, mentioned, this is the Vakya under consideration in this Sutra. They have taken, yes, this is the Vakya under consideration. But they interpret it differently, interpret the Sutra differently, the Shruti Vakyas differently. That's a different issue. But what Bhashyakara cited, Ikshatehe refers to Tadaikshata, that was, yes, that they have taken. So that is the source. That is the only connecting source. Bhashya is the only connecting source between the Sutra and the Upanishads. Upanishad Vakyas, relevant Vakyas. Without which, Sutra is a Mimamsa, Sutra explains Shruti Vakya, We don't even know which is connected, which Vakya is mentioned. Bhashya is the only connection we have which connects the Sutra and the Shruti Vakya. Without this Sutra, we won't understand the relative position of the meaning, the Tatparya of the Shruti Vakya, and that we won't know without Bhashya, without Shankara Bhashya. So Bhashya is of utmost significance for us, the Jignasus, the Mumukshus. Here, Bhashyakara has adopted a very simple style. Acharya Shankara is one of the few writers who writes in simple style. Ati prasanna it is. Simple words, simple sentences. We may find it difficult because of the initial, we are new to this, therefore we find it difficult. Otherwise the words, choice of words are all simple words. And the sentence structures are really simple. That is called the prasannata is there. Simplicity, lucid, crisp. No sagging anywhere. No sagging. Very tight, very lucid, crisp style. We call prasannata. Something can be very simple but not profound. Okay. But here it is profound too, very profound. Gambhira. Gambhirata is there. Gambhira means depth, profundity is there. A simple sentence but very profound sentence. That is the prasanna. Prasannata is there. Gambhirya is there in the Bhashya. Very lucid style, simple style, at the same time very profound text. It's the oldest text available on Brahmasutras Bhashya, and it is very simple in style but same time profound, and it's also a lot of technicalities, details. Bhashyakara hints, mentions. In just one word he will mention a whole vichara, a whole idea he would contain in one word, one expression, very technical. And therefore, later Acharyas commented on this. We have a huge literature. Brahmasutra itself can fill a library. Brahmasutras and books on Brahmasutra, commentaries on commentaries, right? Sub-commentary, Tika, Tippani, a whole library can be filled. And there are translations, not to talk about that. Just to name a few, okay? Sutra, that is Brahma Sutra, and then we have Bhashya. On Bhashya, there is this one commentary. There are many for that matter. There is one commentary called this Panchapadika. Padmapada Acharya's Vyakhyana Panchapadika is there. It's not a commentary of the entire Brahma Sutra Bhashya, only portions it's considered. Then on Panchapadika, there is Prakashatma Muni has written Vivarana. So Vivaranacharya. Prakashatmayati is called Vivaranacharya. Vivarana is a commentary of Panchapadika, which is a commentary of Bhashya, which is a commentary on Sutra. Sutra, Bhashya, Panchapadika, Vivarana. Then later Acharya didn't stop with that. There is one commentary on Vivarana also. Tattvadipanam is there. Tattvadipanam on Vivarana. And there is one on this Tattvadipanam also. Riju Vivaranam. It is there. And we have translations of this also, etc. There is one line. Sutra, Bhashya, Panchapadika, Vivarana, Tattvadipana, Riju Vivarana lines. That means they have thoroughly analyzed. It's not a casual writing, it's thoroughly analyzed what is said, what is considered, what is concluded. Very, very thoroughly analyzed and arrived at the rightness that it is This is correct, is arrived at that. Then we have Bhamati. Bhamati is a commentary of Bhashya, Sutra Bhashya by Vachaspati Mishra. A very beautiful language. The language is quite beautiful. Vachaspati's Bhamati. Scholars love this Bhamati. If not for anything, at least for its style. Bhamati is a very beautiful, written in a very beautiful style. It's like poetry. Prose in poetic form. Poetic prose, like essay. Then Bhamati, on Bhamati, there is a Kalpataru. Amalananda's Kalpataru is there. And on Kalpataru, Appaya Dikshita is written Parimala. So, Sutra, Bhashya, Bhamati, Kalpataru, Parimala, these are all there. Then, some Acharyas have written independent commentary without, of course, referring to Bhashya, but not using the Bhashya. Using the sense, not explaining, not annotating Bhashya, not quoting Bhashya. They have written independent commentaries also. Sankshepa Sharirakam, there is one book. And there is another book by Sadashiva Brahmendra, Brahmasutra Vritti is there. And incidentally, Vritti is a text which just explains the text Mula, but there is no discussion. In the Vritti there is no discussions. In the Bhashya there are discussions. Vritti just says what the Mula Grantha says. That's Vritti. Simple word-to-word explanation and the mention of the Tatparya, that much alone. That is the Vritti. Sadashiva Brahmendra's Vritti is one example on Brahma Sutra. Whereas Bhashya, in Bhashya there is more elaboration. There is a detailed discussion. There is Purva Paksha, there is Siddhanta, it's all in the Bhashya. So Bhashya is more comprehensive. For us, Vritti is very brief. It's not elaborate. Certain points are not made clear for us to understand. The writer understands yes, knows yes, but we the readers, for us, it's not very clear. So Bhashya is of great use. There is a lot of discussion is there, involved discussion, clear discussion, conclusive discussions are there in the form of Purva Paksha and Siddhanta. Alright, so Brahmasutra Bhashya we are entering into. Upanishad being a Pratak Shastram, an Upanishad is Phalavati, it's a Pramana, Phalavati, and therefore needs to be understood. Therefore Brahmasutra is there. And Brahmasutras we need to understand, interpret, understand them correctly. For that Bhashya is there. Therefore we venture into the study of Bhashya. Alright. We will continue. Uttara Shanti. Om Sanno Mitrasam Varunaha Sanno Bhavat-Varyama Sanna Indro Brihaspatihi Sanno Vishnururkramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmavadisham Ritamavadisham Satyamavadisham Tanmamavit Tadvaktaramavit Avin Mam Avi Vaktaram Om Shanti 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। छन्दसा ऋषभो विश्वरूपः छन्दोभ्यो यमृतात् सम्बभूव समेन्द्रो मेधया स्पृणोतु अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासं शरीरं मे विचर्षणं जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरि विश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। वृक्षस्य रेरिवा कीर्तिपृष्ठं येरिव ऊर्ध्वपवित्रो वाजिनीव समृतमस्मि द्रविणगुं सवर्चसं सुमेधा अमृतोक्षितः इति त्रिशङ्कोर्वेदानुवचनम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। आप्यायन्तु मम गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविरावीर्म एरि वेदस्य माणीस्थः श्रुतं मे वा रासीः अनेनाधीतेनाहो गात्रान् सन्दधामि कृतं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। भद्रं नो अपि वार्तयमनः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयामदेवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वांसस्तनूभिः यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। यो ब्रह्माणं विदधातु वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तगुंहदेवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः। राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्दुसदृशो माया समाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रः करणोपसंहरणतो यो भूत्सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्त्वात्समिति प्रबोधसमये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। बाल्यादिष्वपि जाग्रदादिषु तथा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि व्यावृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानमहत्यन्तस्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। विश्वं पश्यति कार्यकारणतया स्वस्वामि सम्बन्धतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्रात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जागृति वाय एष पुरुषो माया परिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। भूरम्भांस्यनलो निलोम्बरमहर्नाथो इमांसु पुमान् इत्याभाति चराचरात्मकमिदं यस्यैव मूर्त्यष्टकम् नान्यत्किञ्चन विद्यते विमृशताम् यस्मात् परस्मात् विभोः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यस्मादमुष्मिंस्तवे तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थनात् ध्यानाच्च संकीर्तनात् सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सिद्ध्येतत् पुनरस्तदा परिणतं चैश्वर्यमुख्यागतम् वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णम् सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमायात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवम् जननमरणदुःखक्षेत्ररक्षं नमामि। अटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा युवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्नसंशयाः निधये सर्वविद्यानां योगिनां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। मौनव्याख्यात् प्रकटितपर ब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानम् वसिष्ठान्ते वसऋषिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्द्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे जनी योगमुद्रा व्याजेन देहिनाम् अशुभानि निराचष्टे तनोति शुभसन्ततिम् स्मृतिमात्रेण यत्पुंसाम् ब्रह्मतन्मङ्गलम् परम् अतिकल्याणरूपत्वान् नित्यकल्याणसंश्रयात् स्मर्तॄणाम् वरदत्वाच्च ब्रह्मतन्मङ्गलम् विदुः ओङ्कारश्चाथ शब्दश्च द्वावेतौ ब्रह्मणः पुरा कंठं भित्त्वा विनिर्यातौ तस्मात् माङ्गलिकावुभौ। ॐ अथ